Ladies and gentlemen, for the past year, I've been telling you, I said Andrew Cuomo in New York is engaging in the most horrendous behavior. He is making the worst decisions. His decisions and his policies are leading directly to lives lost. President Trump was the head of the federal government. There's a federal and a state government. Politics is usually local. Most politics is local. You're governed first by your mayor and then governor. And then if you want to say, well, the president dropped the ball and there were so many things that he did and he should have paid attention. And President Trump addressed the crisis in late January. It was never to the liking of Democrats, so they made absurd allegations like he downplayed the crisis. Okay, every Democrat downplayed the crisis. Go look at the tweets, especially from Andrew Cuomo on March 1st, 2020, where he stated, the risk remains low for the people of New York. There's no need for undue anxiety. Go look at Eric Swalwell's tweet saying you shouldn't engage in something that's now mandatory, the law in most states. Okay, so we can go on forever. Democrats at first did not want to take it seriously because actually Trump was taking it seriously. He imposed a ban, and they said, oh my God, here we go again. He's a horrible monster. Then it got worse because Democrats were blindsided. Then, because when they say the intelligence community could have told, Trump said it was a hoax, he never said that. Yet another thing that Trump never said, just like the fine people commented, that he never stated. He never referred to anyone who is horrendous or atrocious as a fine person. The C-SPAN quote says verbatim, and I'm not talking about the 1930s and 1940s Germans. Those people should be condemned. And in terms of the hoax comment, he never said the pandemic was a hoax. Ever. He said the media reaction, because the media was trying to blame Trump for everything. Now we have 5 governors, Andrew Cuomo, Wolf in Pennsylvania, Whitmer in Michigan, Newsom in California, and Phil Murphy in New Jersey. 5 Democratic governors who forced people into elderly care facilities. Okay? Wouldn't you absolutely love to get some investigative journalism from the Washington Post or the New York Times? That will never happen. Why? Because the media, Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Esquire, Vanity Fair, Rolling Stone, Mother Jones, The Nation, Time Magazine. I mean, that's just 10 cable stations and publications just off the top of my head. They will never address legitimate stories when those stories and when that information and that data points to the most horrendous outcomes in Democratic-run states because of the decisions from lawmakers that were, and all of them devoted their lives to going up against Trump. Trump was not the problem the past year. His tweets were to a lot of people. The Twitter account was. But that shot in the arm, that's because of Trump. You should thank Trump. And they said, oh, that's impossible. You're not going to be able to get that done. He got it done. He still gets no credit. The Republicans don't even thank him for it. So that's another story. But Bill de Blasio today stated that Cuomo could no longer serve as governor. Cuomo's done. His political career is over. 6 people alleging horrendous things. But see, again, this is the way Democrats work. It's public relations with them. 15,000 lives lost directly linked to his decision-making. You can't... Okay, President Trump did not have the authority to tell a governor how to run a state. 1 out of 5, 100,000 of the 500,000, 100,000 of the 500,000 lives lost are in either New York or LA. New York and LA account for 20% of all the lives lost. And so, you have to ask yourself, Democrats have been saying, like, Cuomo wrote a book. Hit subscribe to this channel right now because I've been telling you this. This is like the biggest news story of the day, of the week. Andrew Cuomo's done politically. The 6 allegations, but Not just that, I mean, the 15,000 lives lost from elderly care facilities where he forced infected people. And why would you if you're 5 Democratic governors, Newsom, Cuomo, Whitmer, Wolf, and Phil Murphy, why would you force infected people within, why would you force infected people to reside within the most vulnerable groups? Hit subscribe to this channel right this second. I've been telling people this forever. You can go to my website, hagoodman.com. You can read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, The Daily Caller. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment description and also on hagoodman.com. You can see my debates on hagoodman.com. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just read you this. Unbelievable. De Blasio, Cuomo can no longer serve as governor. I mean, that's it. It was Andrew Cuomo who deserved all the venom and vitriol and contempt from Twitter and from Democrats and from media. It wasn't Trump. They focused on him for political purposes. They didn't focus on him because of reality. The reality was everyone could have done more, but Trump never did. Not even close to the level of damage and just his decisions never led to the consequences of the lives lost in New York and New Jersey. Phil Murphy is next after Cuomo. He's just as bad. President Trump did not say, hey, let's put infected people in elderly care facilities and disabled facilities for disabled Americans. These are the most vulnerable groups in the country when it came to the crisis for the past year. And Andrew Cuomo did this. And the New York Post has been talking about this. I've been talking about this for the past year. And just now, Politico, and just now, does the Washington Post even know? Let's see. Mayor de Blasio on Thursday joined the call for Governor Andrew Cuomo to step down in light of the most recent allegations against the embattled governor. A 6th woman emerged this week accusing Cuomo. According to a report in the Times-Union, the woman, a staffer whose identity has not been made public, said Cuomo last year. Executive Mansion. So the man is... This is the way Democrats work. They say, well, Trump has 25 people alleging. It's like, well, okay. There's actually a police report. There hasn't been a police report against Trump. But let's see. There's a police report now. There was a police report against our wonderful president. Let's see. So now it's an allegation sent to Albany police. So I don't know if it was a report yet, but there hasn't been a police station ever notified of any accusation leveled against Trump or Kavanaugh. That doesn't mean the accusations are untrue. The accusations could be true against Trump. But in this world where it's just what Democrats view as credible, a police report the New York Times stated when it was leveled against President Biden, trying to intimidate Miss Reed. The New York Times said, if you file a police report and if it goes to the police, well then, and right, it's true. Well, they were right. If you file a false police report, you're gonna get in big trouble. But now Cuomo and Joe Biden have the same thing in common, something that Kavanaugh and Trump do not have, which is the police being involved now. So Albany police are now involved. So you tell me how Cuomo gets out of this. You say, well, he's a Democrat, nothing's going to happen. Okay, yeah, but you know what? Then he'll lose next year when during the race for governor. But this man is directly responsible for, they say, 15,000 lives lost because of his decision making. You cannot look at any part of the country. And by the way, 7 Democratic-run states account for over 200,000 lives lost of the 500,000. That's 40%. 40%. We have 50 states. When they say this is a nationwide problem, this is a crisis our country is facing, Well, yes, but it's a crisis that Democratic-run states are facing more so than anyone else. 1 out of 5 people are in New York who have lost their lives are in New York or California. And you say, well, that means that's meaningless because look, yeah, but New York has the highest per capita rates, along with New Jersey. And the top 4 highest per capita rates, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and what was it, Massachusetts, I believe. So, you look at the Democratic Party, they're the first to pontificate, the first to judge, the first to condemn. They condemn, they judge, they pontificate, they say, if you don't listen to us, you will perish. But if you do listen to them, you'll perish. And you'll lose your life. And so, or at least in the case of Andrew Cuomo and Whitmer. Whitmer, by the way, there's $155,000 in hush money now that she paid a top official to keep quiet about her decision-making during this crisis. So, I mean, Trump was never the problem. He was never they just, look, people don't like, on the left, they don't like his personality. That's it. That's it. Did he make missteps? Yeah, every president makes missteps. Every president. But no president has ever received the negative media touch, and Trump has. And they never, I'm critical of President Trump's Twitter profile, like what he was doing on Twitter. He shouldn't have said the things he did. He riled them up, and he thought he was fighting back, but he fell into a trap. So if he, he's going to run in 2024, he'll easily get the nomination, GOP, but he can't be on Twitter again because it gives Democrats this energy, this momentum. Because if they're left to just simply govern and look in the mirror, they all turn to stone. They all become Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo is now, that's first. Then the people of New Jersey, they're going to investigate Phil Murphy. Then the people of Michigan are already investigating Whitmer. And in California, there's a recall for Newsom that's already reached over 2 million signatures. So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where, and then Wolf, that's just waiting to happen in Pennsylvania. And by the way, the top 13 unemployment rates, the highest unemployment rates in the country, go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I just cited New York Times statistics. Go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The top 12 or 13 of the 14 highest unemployment rates are Democratic-run states, blue states. Hawaii leading with 10% unemployment. And the 2 senators from Hawaii, I mean, that's all they did was go after Trump. How do you, if you do not have all of media, all of late night, all of Hollywood, every social media algorithm, you have intelligence operatives and even Republicans against Trump, it's a completely different ballgame. And then the Wall Street Journal says, gee, well, if Trump was so great, why did they lose? It's like, he got no support he got nobody to champion his numerous accomplishments. We had record low unemployment throughout most of his tenure. Nobody remembers. It's not Trump's fault that these the highest unemployment rates take place in Democratic-run states. That's not Trump's fault. It's not Trump's fault because Andrew Cuomo decided to engage in the most horrendous decision-making. But see, again, nobody stuck up for the president. Nobody. And look, Trump made it difficult. I get it. I understand. But you don't see Mitch McConnell could you imagine if there wasn't, you have Mitt Romney, Ben Sass, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski. You have everybody from Kinzinger to Cheney to other Republicans. Could you imagine if if the Republican Party spoke with a unified voice to defend a Republican president and keep any, if they didn't like his personality, fine. But that's what the Democrats do. You think Democrats love Biden? I don't think so. A lot of them don't. But they keep their critique under wraps. They keep their critique, away from media. And so, anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. The real culprit throughout this crisis was absolutely not Trump. The real culprits were Democratic governors who mismanaged their states, who were completely blindsided. And you have an issue, ladies and gentlemen, where you have this hysteria, this frenzy, where people just don't like Trump. That's the thing. They despise President Trump. And because they despise Trump, they're not willing to look at reality. I remember, unfortunately, I remember debating people I know, unfortunately, getting lured into a debate, like last year, saying, hey, you know what? Look at what Andrew Cuomo's doing. It's like they don't even listen. Don't debate anyone who has derangement issues with Trump. They don't listen. They don't care. It's literally like you're talking and they're not listening. They're just it's like you're talking and they don't hear the words. And they just focus on how horrible Trump is because he's an authoritarian tyrant despot. Meanwhile, the true despots get away with everything until they engage in so much foul play that it's just too much even for Democrats. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Be here tonight. I have a live stream later this evening.